Was that applause or an aftershock? Boy, what a nice crowd. Thank you. After an ovation like that, I'm going to do the whole hour. Anyway, welcome to California, the quakes and flakes state. By the way, if you have never been involved in an earthquake, you're from outside of California, you'll know when it hits. If you find yourself body surfing in a waterbed, that's the tip-off. You were so happy a moment ago. The earthquake was even felt here in Los Angeles. Ed had to steady himself by holding onto the curb. Oh, come on now. Come on. You can... The quake and flake state has fun. I tried to get earthquake insurance, and I received a letter from my insurance company telling me they will give me flood, fire, mudslide, and earthquake, but not in California. I have a great insurance company, Murray of Omaha. Murray of Omaha has a great slogan. It is, after you die, we'll still be here. Some good news and bad news. The bad news is the state of California apparently is going broke. But apparently, the California is falling into the sea at this time anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. How many from out of town tonight? Most of you from out of town? But there's not much in the paper today that's really amusing. The Ayatollah Khomeini was in the news yesterday. It was his birthday. And apparently the Ayatollah executed one of his aides today. And because of his birthday, he didn't like the gift that he got from him. He gave him a subscription to MTV. There is some sad news. Laverne and Shirley was canceled. Oh. I think 7 years, that's a pretty good run. And they tried to class up Laverne and Shirley a little bit by trying to get introductions by Alistair Cook. It was kind of a classy show. It filled the subtlety void left by My Mother the Car. But networks, let's be fair. Our networks are cruel in the way they cancel a show. Now, the way Laverne and Shirley found out that they were canceled, they found a note in the dressing room wall that said, "Go gag yourself with a spoon, for sure." I thought so. In the paper today, ABC canceled 8 different television shows, but they've got some biggies coming up. Some real biggies. There's a show called Abernathy and Pete. That's true. Starring Lorne Greene. It's about a former cop turned ventriloquist. Who infiltrates crime syndicates with his dummy. The dummy will also be the story editor. And they've got a new undercover cop show in San Francisco called The Quiche Team. Peter Graves, good actor, is coming back next season with Hervé Villechaize in a new detective series called Whiteside and Short Stuff. And Hervé plays Whiteside, and in the opener, he poses as a mafia godfather by disguising himself as a lawn ornament. Anyway, did you tell them who we have on tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, the mighty Carson art players will perform tonight. And David Steinberg is with us. A young boy, you may not recognize the name. He's, I think, 12 years old, Emmanuel Lewis. And he has been on all kinds of television commercials and going to be in a new show. He is with us. The lady who plays Bob Newhart's wife on his show, Mary Fran, is here. And Later on, as a surprise, Billy Martin will be out here and tell us that he's just been hired by Forest Lawn to kick dirt. So it should be a great show. So thank you for coming, and we'll be... Thank you. All of you. Good night. I got it. Oh.
Thank you, Doctor. Doc Severinsen and the great NBC Orchestra. Thank you. Recently, a 10-year-old American girl made news when she wrote to Soviet leader Yuri Andropov and actually received a letter back from him. The Russian premier answered many of her questions on subjects including nuclear war, world conquest. It got us wondering what it might be like if the tables were turned and President Reagan were to receive a letter from an inquisitive Russian girl. Here now, with the help of the mighty Carson art players, is exactly how our chief executive might respond.
Well, Miss Osborne, did you bring in the morning mail?
Yes, Mr. President. It's sitting on your desk. You received a letter from a young girl in Russia, an Olga Petroshovic.
Dear President Reagan, aren't you afraid of unleashing a terrible force that may ruin all forms of life on the planet?
Dear Olga, how did you hear about James Watt?
What does Vice President Bush do?
Well, I've assigned Vice President Bush a very high-level project involving Brazil and Denmark. Every morning, he gets me a coffee and a Danish.
Is it true that there is a lot of crime in your streets?
No, Olga, our streets are safe. It's the sidewalks where you can get your keister kicked.
Do you have a place like Siberia where you ship people who can't fit into your society?
Yes, Los Angeles.
What kind of military arms does America have?
Well, the military arms I've seen are very hairy. Most of them have twos that say USMC, Mom, or Born to Lose.
In Washington, what do you call that huge round structure with the white dome?
Tip O'Neill.
Why are you selling wheat to Russia?
Well, we had to. They said they already had enough Elmer Fudd beach towels.
Do you have secret police like the KGB who burst into your house late at night, drag you away, and take everything you own?
Well, we have something similar in our country, Olga. They call it the IRS.
Are the black people in your country still in chains?
Only Sammy Davis Jr.
When it's 9 a.m. here in Moscow, what time is it in Washington?
Miller time.
What was the name of that ape you worked with who used to jump up and down on the table until he got his own way?
Alexander Haig.
How come you haven't been to Russia?
Well, Olga, the last time I was in Santa Barbara, I decided to go to Russia. I got about a mile offshore, and my horse drowned.
Does your wife make any decisions for you?
Does a Russian bear do and yet in the woods?
What is the difference between being an actor and being a president?
Well, one goes in front of a camera and wears a lot of makeup and reads lines that others have written for him and pretends to be somebody he's not. The other one makes movies.
Do you dye your hair?
No, Olga, I don't. What I do is I bleach my face so the hair will look darker.
In Russia, we wonder what valley girls are like.
Well, I'm led to believe that they're totally bitchin', for sure. Well, I have to go now. Yours till Niagara Falls. Ron.
Thank you.
I haven't had a chance to see this, but this, I like.
Oh, good heavens.
Look at this.
It's like a bad bathroom carpet. First of all, I want to thank Mari, our hairdressing crew, and Harry and Bob are back there making this makeup very fast. And the little girl is the daughter of one of our hairdressers here at NBC, Mari Lotion. Samantha, wasn't she wonderful?
She's excellent.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's not. She is not by trade a professional actress, but she did that as well as any professional little actress would do.
She waited until the applause was over and the laughter, and then she had her line.
She
it was just perfect.
She knew how to play it. Speaking of young people, my first guest is a young man that you will probably recognize. You've seen him a lot on television, and I guess maybe we're gonna show the piece of one of them right now. Roll the tape. He does a lot of commercial work. Emmanuel Lewis.
Just can't figure it out. Everybody knows flame rolling beats frying nearly 3-to-1. It's all over town. And McDonald's is frying their hamburgers all over town. Well, I like them flame broiled. So what are you gonna do? I got it. Go to Burger King.
That is, my cheeks, I was just...
Yeah. Very rosy.
Just look at the monitor. My cheeks seem to be quite rosy. Anyway, speaking of Emmanuel, it's announced today that he's going to be starring in a new television series on another network this fall called The Websters. Would you welcome Emmanuel Lewis? Hello, Emmanuel. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
We've never met before until right this moment.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you too.
Me too, huh? Thank you, Emmanuel. You surprised me. For some reason, I thought you were going to be taller.
Me too.
Me too. Do you get tired of people saying that you're short?
No.
No? You mind telling us how old you are?
12.
You're 12. You've done how many commercials have you done altogether?
I'm not
Not sure? You quit counting, huh?
Yes.
Are you putting your money away in
Yes.
a bank account? Yeah. What do you think you'll do with all your money someday? What would you like to do? What would you like to buy if you could buy anything in the world?
I'm not sure.
Not sure yet, huh?
I'll just spend it safely.
Just put it away safely.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, yeah. Didn't you do a commercial with Bill Cosby for Jell-O pudding, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what other commercials have you done?
I've done Campbell's soup, Life cereal,
Uh-huh.
Maxwell House coffee, Elmer's glue, French's mustard, apple juice.
Yeah. Now, do you use all those products?
Most of them.
Most of them. I won't ask you which ones you don't. I don't suppose you drink too much coffee, do you?
No.
Yeah. Okay. What grade you in school?
6.
You're 6th grade. Yeah. What's your favorite subject?
Well, I like science,
Good for you. Good for you.
reading, math.
Yeah. What are you studying in science right now? That's interesting.
Well, how to connect batteries, dry cells together.
Dry cells and batteries.
Yes.
Yeah. You like math too?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they teach math, I think, a little bit differently now, don't they? Than at least when I was a kid. They're a different system. Do you know how they teach it now? Is it decimal system or something?
Yeah, decimal system.
How does that work? Can you explain it? What would be a kind of a problem you would have?
I don't have too much problems.
Yeah. Somebody told me you made a trip to Japan?
Yes.
What'd you go to Japan for?
Well, I've done a commercial.
Oh, for Japanese television.
Yes.
Ah. Did you like Japan?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What did you find most interesting about Japan?
Well, most of them were short like me.
Most of them. Had you read anything about Japan in school? Did you know anything about it before you went there?
Well, all I know is that they speak Japanese.
Speak Japanese?
And, let me see.
Did you go to Tokyo?
Yes.
That's a big city, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. How long were you in Japan?
That depends on what time I went there.
Well, you been there more than once?
Yes.
You have, yeah. I've never been to Japan myself. And you've been there more than once.
Yes.
Did you learn to speak any Japanese at all?
Yes.
You did? What can you say in Japanese?
Uh,
Can you say something in Japanese or?
yes, let me think. Pokemon Baby Star.
All I learned from Shogun was konnichiwa. I think that means how are you or good morning or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sayonara.
Sayonara. Of course, that means, I guess, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. What? You seem to be missing a fair amount of teeth there, up on the top row.
Yes.
Yeah. Did they just naturally come out, or?
A little help from Mom.
A little help from Mom. Now, you don't mean by saying that your mom...
Yes, I do.
Well, Mom will certainly be happy to hear that tonight on television.
Mom, we have to talk to this later.
Yeah, we have to talk to Mom later. I remember when I was a kid, I'd take you put them under your pillow for the tooth fairy.
Right.
Did you do that?
Yes.
And what was there in the morning?
Sheet.
A sheet. Yeah, well, I know that. Well, usually there'd be maybe a dime or something like that. Didn't the tooth fairy leave anything at all? No, didn't, huh? No. That was probably because you've got so many commercials going, you didn't need it anyway. You have a girlfriend?
Let's put it this way, I have girls that are friends.
That is well put, very diplomatic. You have girls who are friends.
Right.
The girls can be very nice friends, can't they?
Yes.
Do you go to the movies together, or?
No.
You don't? Just talk and stuff like that?
Yes.
Dance maybe a little bit?
No.
No dancing, huh? No hugging or?
No.
No kissing?
No.
You mean to tell me?
Only for Mom.
Only from Mom?
Yes. I think I have to kiss her after, so I won't get in trouble.
Yeah. I think a kiss would be in order when you get home, yeah. Do you like to go to amusement parks, stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you like to ride on?
Well, my uncle put me in a cup, like in Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, those,
Yes.
cups that spin around?
Yes, and I thought I had some bakaka.
You what?
Some bakaka.
You did a little caca in the cup? Is that... What? Well, is that what you... I must... you didn't do that?
No.
Oh, well, you did that, Walt Disney would be spinning in his grave like a leaf. I mean... Yeah. Well, you're a nice young man, Emmanuel. That's a nice name. That's kind of... you don't see many people named Emmanuel. Do you like that name, Emmanuel? Huh? What are your favorite television shows?
Well, I like Give Me a Break.
Give Me a Break. Good.
Yes. I like The Love Boat.
Love Boat, yeah.
Yes, I like Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
Too Close for Comfort.
Too Close for Comfort.
Let me see. A lot of other shows.
Mm-hmm. You ever watch this show?
Once in a blue moon.
You have 6 teeth missing. Would you like to try for 7? You watch once in a while. Come on now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd be at nighttime, so I don't quite
That's right. It's
remember.
pretty late, isn't it? Well, Emmanuel, I'm glad you could be with us tonight. It's nice to meet you. I enjoy watching you on television, and I hope you enjoyed being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. And give my best to your mom, will you? Okay, Emmanuel. I thought it was a Mattel toy walking here. He doesn't mind that. He gets kidded all the time about that, but he is really small, isn't he?
Adorable, yeah.
But he is small.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Oh.
He's going to have to square things at home with Mom tonight
indeed.
about the teeth. We'll be back. David Steinberg is here and Mary Fran, so stay where you are. Okay. I always enjoy when David Steinberg is on the show. He is one of the more humorous observers of what the insanity in this world. And he's going to be appearing at Caesars in Atlantic City beginning the 13th of this month. And he directed another picture, soon-to-be-released movie called Berserk. Would you welcome, please, David Steinberg.
Amazing.
Were you as stunned as I was when you first met him?
I saw him walk by me, you know?
Yeah.
And I just thought it was incredible. I know. This little thing just walks by, sits down, and just line after line.
Charming, isn't he? Charming.
Well, it's not so charming when you have to follow it.
Children and dogs, right?
Children and dogs, yeah.
Well, what do we want to talk about tonight? If you wonder what this is about, we had some carpet problems we didn't like, and we're looking for new carpet, so this is kind of shoddy right now. But
I should hope so.
Isn't it tacky, though?
Yeah, this is tacky. This is
Strip
great.
away the tinsel from show business, and underneath is more tinsel.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
what do you want to talk about? Anything.
Newspaper stuff is sort of interesting these days.
Yeah.
Well, you said there really isn't much going on. It's true. There isn't much going on, but the little bit that is going on is sort of peculiar.
Yeah.
The Hitler Diaries. See,
Yeah.
do you care that they discover a diary of Hitler? I mean, what could they find out that they don't already know? I mean, he's done all of his damage, you know what I mean? But the fact that it was a hoax, it was obvious to me.
They think now, I guess, it pretty well is a hoax, right?
I mean, this is a hoax. I mean, about page 62, he mentions Ron Howard. Got up there.
Yeah, that's a tip-off. That's clumsy forgery right there.
Absolutely. You know, little things give it away. Like, I think the subtitle was supposed to be "Real Nazis Don't Eat Quiche." You know, you just explore it a little bit, you find out that it's really not worth much. I don't care about Hitler. I really don't. I mean, you know, I imagine what the Hitler diary must be, you know, like Hitler's jokes. When you know what Hitler's jokes are? How many Nazis does it take to screw in a light bulb? You know, I'd like to know what the answer to that is. Maybe 2, you know, 1 to screw it in and you execute the other one. You know? The preoccupation with Hitler is amazing to me. You see,
George Will had a column, I think, in Newsweek, George Will, the very bright columns about the fascination with this terrible person, because evil has always fascinated people more than good, strangely enough.
Yes,
I don't know what it says about us, but...
Yeah, it's true. Well, evil, it almost gets funny. Yeah. You have to get funny with something like Hitler, because it's too terrifying otherwise. Yeah. But I thought there were some items in the newspaper that you might... Do you remember the Shergard item? The horse that was kidnapped?
Oh, yes. Did they? I don't know if they ever found him, did they?
No, all of a sudden it was in the news that they kidnapped this horse, and they didn't know where to find him. You know, I mean, kidnapping a horse is an incredible thing. Don't you have an image of this horse in some sleazy hotel room, you know, on the 2nd floor? You know, they're slapping him in the face and holding the phone up to his snout, you know.
And then the horse goes. How much do they want?
But, you know, he's got to be easy to find. You know, room service would be a tip-off. 10,000 carats.
Did they ever find that horse?
No, just sort of.
That's all.
I follow these items. I like the quirky. There was another item that I couldn't get over. It was 300 marriages took place between convicts in jail and women in California.
The women that are not in jail.
That are not in jail, yeah. In other words, 300 women married convicts in jail in California. That's a big number. Yeah. And in Psychology Today, they had a psychologist interview these women as to why they did it. And the general answer from all these women was that they did it because it was sort of romantic. Now, so I wanted to, I started to explore this. What is it that is romantic? Well, a lot of things are romantic. You get to visit your fiancé at his big house in the country. Right. That's sort of romantic. You get to learn all these intimate things about him, like what's his favorite color and why he's called the shopping mall slasher. Imagine one of these women telling their parents that they're getting married. And their parents says, what's your fiance's name? They say, Louis the Gimp. And they say, gee, we're not familiar with the Gimp family, dear. But what does he do? Well, he hurts innocent people. He's a doctor.
That'd be tough to break the news, wouldn't it?
Tough to break the news to the folk. I mean, there are advantages, for the wedding, no buffet, no guests. You can exercise in the yard. Helen Gurley Brown will get a hold of this, and she'll have a thing of how to turn on your convict in jail by, flirting with his chain gang. So I like these little off items.
What is crazy about the 300 women did that? Now, I suppose there's some well-meaning people.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure some of it is, very nice.
At least you always know where your husband is.
That's right. That's right.
No problem there.
Yeah. When he's coming home, he's given 8 to 10, that. You sort of prepare for that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back talking with David Steinberg about this and that. Want to talk about television a little bit? Television's always good grist for stuff.
Yeah, well, this is the...
Cable television is big now because they thought it was going to be tremendous.
Yeah.
And they're finding out that they also have the same problems the networks have. They got to have the shows and material, and they're finding it hard to find.
Yeah, and it's hard to get excited about indoor soccer, you know? I mean, I watch it, but it's not really there. What they've found is, what can we do on cable that we don't do on network television? And so a few executives all sharing a brain.
It's time-sharing brain.
Time-share. They have one brain between them, so they all have to be in the same room when they use it. They came together, and they said, why don't we show bodies? Naked bodies. I mean, all, you know, television sort of titillates and all. What we will do is show bodies. Now, they have a show on. It's either Showtime or Home Box Office. I have them all, because, as you know, I like to look at these things. And they
for research purposes.
For research,
of course.
Well, I mean, when you're going to show a naked body, I'm interested. I am interested. And what they've determined is that breasts. I didn't mean to go up that high when I said it. Breasts. Yeah. Breasts. When you show an audience breasts, it'll be exciting, and they will tune in. Now. You got me. I mean, if I know that someone's going to come in, show their breasts, I mean, it's more than you see on national television, right? So I would look at cable for that. But they have a show, it's called Something Eden, and it's soap opera. It's soap operas in which the sole purpose is to take off your clothes. And the plot lines go like this. She comes home and she says, hi, honey. He says, hi, darling. How's it going? She says, oh, not bad. He said, do you have a hard day at the office? She said, oh, yeah, it was really loud. He says, yeah. Why don't you take off your blouse? And she takes off her blouse.
Right.
Another plot line would be she comes home and she says, yeah, I'm sort of worried about the MX missile crisis. Yeah, me too. Why don't you take off your blouse?
I've seen a couple of those.
Really,
They are the worst.
They do.
They are the worst written, most badly acted things you've ever seen.
I mean, I will turn away from beautiful women baring their breasts to watch Family Feud.
Yeah.
Because this is so dull.
Yeah.
I mean, they have managed to take the thing I love most in the world and make it dull. And, you know, and we have very few of these things left. You know, you want to hold on to them.
They got a long way to go before cable really becomes
a
viable
joke.
thing.
It's a joke.
We have to cut away already, Fred? Okay, Fred says so because he's really...
Yes, Fred knows.
Fred knows.
Yeah.
At the peak. Always cut away at the peak.
Oh, at the peak.
At the peak. Okay, let's keep going. No. We'll come back, and Mary Fran is with us. Thank you, Doc. My next guest is a young lady. Bob Newhart has had a couple of shows on television, and both of them are successful. I think one of the better written shows is Bob's show on This Year. And, of course, in the first show, I think Suzanne Plachette, of course, played his wife. And Mary Fran had to come in now and kind of overcome that identification, which she has done very, very well. She's the most talented actress. This is her first appearance with us. Would you welcome, please, Mary Fran. Mary. I don't have any carpet, and my chair disappeared. Turn around, the chair was gone.
Is this the way to begin?
How are you? You're very good on that show. It's a good show.
Oh, thank you.
Well written, and it must be fun working with Bob.
It is a ball.
Yeah, he's got such good timing and can do lines so well.
Yes, it is a ball.
But wasn't it kind of difficult in a way because of the Bob Newhart show before with Suzanne Plachette?
Well,
there's such a strong identification, and all of a sudden you come in and...
I know, everybody asked me about this, and in all honesty, it wasn't difficult. Yeah. And the reason was that show was its own premise, and this show is brand new, and the only common denominator, is Bob.
Right.
I had never met Suzanne, but I did enjoy her work on the show.
Right.
And, she came on the set one day.
Right.
And I had not expected this. I always go to work in the sweatsuits and the warm-ups and no makeup, and out of the corner of my eye, when I bounded on the set, I saw this gorgeous brunette. And I said, dear God, I will take any brunette right now except Suzanne Plachette while I'm in the sneakers. And apparently what had happened was the night before, she had run into Bob at a gathering.
Right.
And we have many of the same people, the same crews. So she said, I was thinking of coming on the set and saying hello. Do you think it would upset anybody? And Bob said, well, Actually, yes, I think it would upset everybody, but particularly Mary. She said, good, I'll be there.
Just checking you out,
Yes,
huh?
just checking me out. So she did come on the set, and Bob said, Mary, I'd like you to meet Suzanne. So I came over, and we traded some one-liners and some quips, and when she left, I said to Bob and the director, now listen, this is too good.
Right.
This is not going by without a gag. So Bob said, I'll tell you what we do. We call the producers, and we tell them that you're in your dressing room and you're absolutely outraged and we cannot get you on the set and you cannot believe that they sent Suzanne Plachette over here. So they did. Everybody believed it. They trooped over and said, what is going on here? And I finally just said, look, guys, I can't keep this up for the whole day.
Practical joke.
Yeah, it is a gag. But the producer had come by my dressing room no more than 5 minutes before that to discuss a scene.
Right.
And I had said, look, Barry, this is where I think I'm a little uncomfortable. So I said, you know, Barry, I thought I had your vote of confidence after we had that little meeting. And for you to get on the phone and get Suzanne over here to show me how to play the scene, I just think it's just too horrible. So we do a lot of practical joking like that. And that was the first time I met her.
Somebody told me you started out as a TV weather girl.
Yes,
really?
I did.
Did you know anything about weather? Or were you
Nothing.
Just,
Zilch. Remember the boon of the weather girl? Remember when every station had a...
Zabuna, the weather girl?
I said,
oh,
do
the
you remember
boon
the
of the
boon?
weather. I thought you said Zabuna, the weather girl, and I said,
She might have been
makes
one.
sense, yeah.
She might have been one.
Yeah, that was.
I know.
Yeah, there was a trend where every station had a weather girl.
Every station had a weather girl. Well, when I left Northwestern, I went to Northwestern for 2 years. I left Northwestern, yay, and my hometown in St. Louis asked me if I would do the weather on the station, and I knew nothing whatsoever. And I thought, well, this is a way to kind of get started and actually be working, get on your feet. They introduced me to a meteorologist, and I said, sir, I do not want to waste your time. Put all those charts away. Do not speak of cumulus and zumulus and et cetera. This is not going to penetrate or work. So the first night that we did the show, I went out and I said, I had gone outside the station, looked at the weather.
Good thinking.
The way all of us do. And went on the air saying, folks, it's raining. If I were you, I would stay inside. I'd get by a fire. If there's someone you adore, cuddle up.
Right.
And I would not go outside. So we went off the air.
That's really all you want to know when you watch the weather.
That is all you want to know. Thank you.
What's it like outside? Yeah.
I thought I was going to get fired because the next day the program director called me in and he said, do you know, as a result of last night's broadcast, we had about 500 calls concerning the weather? And I said, yes, sir, I'm sure you did. I thought, this is it, kiddo. You are going to work at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
That is where your future lies. And he said, I don't know what you're doing, but obviously it's okay. It's working, so just keep going.
Yeah.
So that's what I kept doing. I didn't even know where the states were. This is such an embarrassment to admit. And the last night of the show, the crew erased all the states which they had penciled in for me so I would know. So the last night,
you had to point out Montana
and I'm doing sweeping gestures that were so balletic that, you know, were across the weather map. So that career.
Well, I think weather, you see, they put into the news because they sell that segment, and they have to fill the time.
I think so.
And almost people want to know in Los Angeles, is it going to rain tomorrow? Should I take a coat?
That's all.
And so forth.
Exactly. People want to know everywhere.
They really don't want to know in Montana if there's a frost warning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting on the airplane.
And going to
get up there, you know,
yeah.
that night. So that was a very brief, I had a very brief moment.
Yeah. How'd you get out of Weather Girl into the acting? Is that
I actually always wanted to act.
Yeah.
And I had done everything I could in high school and everything I could in college. And I went to Chicago on a vacation. And someone recommended that I go over to one of the networks, and I did. And they were starting a new television show, which was going to be like AM,
Yeah.
LA, that kind of thing, a morning show. And they said, you know, we're going to audition you, but we're going to audition you on film. So they sent me to the Chicago Zoo because the zoo is so well known. Wait a minute. Gets better.
Yes.
At any rate, they had just gotten a brand new elephant in the zoo. So the zookeeper and I and the elephant are standing in this little space. And during the interview...
Oh, you're supposed to interview the keeper of the...
The keeper.
Yeah.
The elephant is moving closer and closer and with great steadiness and great pace toward the little blonde. The zookeeper